Good morning. Good morning, guys. It's Happy New Year's Eve, about midday or so. We are going to do some chicken stew. We are using our chickens that we called, our roosters that we called a couple days ago. They've been in a cooler, just chilling and resting. So we're gonna try some chicken stew tonight. Got our pot on. We just put them on probably 20 minutes or so ago. And we'll try to time this a little bit so it's kind of see how long it takes. Just got them on low right now, just kind of warming up, getting everything up to temperature. So we're gonna let all this cook down and debone our chickens and use this as our broth. That'll be our base, and then we'll add everything into it. So right now we're just gonna season up our broth basically. We got a wood paddle that we made. I've had this since probably 2014, and we made it in a campground one year as we were cooking in the cast iron over the fire. So it's been with us a little while. All right, so we're gonna wing a lot of this because I really don't have a true recipe, so to speak. But in the coming months in 2021, we're gonna try to do some cast iron cooking videos, and we'll do some jambalaya, coupons, just different stuff. And there's some of them I've got written down recipes to, and some I don't. So we'll see how it goes. So what we're gonna do right now is just kind of guess and estimate and eyeball our amounts we put in here, and just kind of season up the broth and let everything kind of cook down. All right, so we've got some onion powder. Sprinkle a little bit of this in here. We've got some chicken seasoning. Sprinkle a little bit of that in here, and I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Woo! We got some black pepper. Oh, I told you. All right. Over here we got some onion powder. Onion powder in here. We're gonna put onions in it too in a little while.
Garlic powder.
Yeah, garlic powder, my bad. We got some Tony's. Just a little hint of that. And just a hint of red pepper to give it a little spice. Just a little bit. You don't want a whole lot of that. Of course, some of it cooks out, so let's get enough in there to taste. Tell you guys a little quick story. We done this in a 12 or 13, and we done it out back in the shop. We just get everything set up back there in the concrete. We had a wood heater and a little salt, and get everything set up and had all our spices out, sitting around on the table. Me and a buddy of mine was cooking, so I'd sprinkle some in there, and I'd walk off, and he'd look at it. He'd come behind me and sprinkle some in there behind me. Then I'd come back and add a little more to it, and it was very spicy to say the least, but it was good. But it was almost on that hairy edge of being a little much. So we'll stir this up just a little bit, and that's going to be our broth. All right. So we're going to let this, just got it on low right now, just letting it simmer down here and get everything up to temp. So it's just now coming up. May have a little too much, may dip some of that water out a little while. So we'll let that continue to come up and start boiling, and we'll let it boil, I don't know, probably an hour and a half. Let our chicken start falling apart, and then we'll turn the heat down, dip everything out. Then that'll be our broth, and we'll separate, debone the chicken, and get it ready to come back in later. It's coming up though. All right, our chicken is done. I had to manufacture a lid right quick. It wasn't coming up to temp. And the other one I had, it was just a store-bought hot water pan's what it was. So I went and made us a lid right quick. And as you can tell, we are pretty much done here. We're boiling very good now. And I think we're done. Just give him a little stir. Yeah. Yeah, the chicken coming off the bone now. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll cover these back up for a few minutes and turn the fire down. And we'll go get some pans and get our chicken out and get it pulled off the bone and cooling. And then we'll be ready to put some carrots in the broth. Carrots and peas, some seasoning. We'll taste the broth and see what we think. If it needs anything, some salt. And we'll go from there. You wanna hold that?
Give me hot.
It's okay. Broth's good. There you go. Alright, so we've got our chicken out, it's cooling off. While it's cooling, we're going to add our carrots to it. We're going to take some of this broth out because we don't want everything in there, all of it. We're going to gain some more when we put the rest of the ingredients in. So it's coming up to temp now. So we're going to put our carrots in. We're going to take out. That's hot. We're going to take out a dip of that. All right, so time to add the onions. That was 4 pounds of onions, if anybody count.
Four large.
Four large, which is about 3 3/4, 4 pounds of onions.
And it was 4 pounds of carrots.
4 pounds of carrots. So we'll let that cook. See, our onions are starting to cook now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they're not as soft as I thought they were. All right. So these have been in about an hour. Carrots and our onions have been in about an hour. And now we're going to add our corn. And just because the corn is froze, we're going to let it cook, I don't know, just start to soften up probably 20, 30 minutes maybe. May not take that long, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we almost came back to a slow little rolling boil. So we'll ease those in there. So we make a mess. So everything we put in here so far, I had to go get carrots, I had to buy carrots and onions. And everything else came from our farm or our garden or we've raised it. So that's pretty good. Not bad. I'm going to end up dropping one of these bags in there. So we put 4 quarts. These are quart?
They're 2 cups each. So you put 2 quarts in there.
2 quarts. 2 quarts of corn. And we'll go over all, we can put the complete recipe at the bottom of the video. And if you guys would like to follow that, maybe cook it, add to it, see what you guys think, and give us some feedback. Again, we're gonna try to do some of these different type cooking videos throughout 21, so we welcome all comments and See what you guys think. Give us some of your recipes. We'll share some. So we're gonna let that cook down just a little while. Then we'll be ready to add our tomatoes, which they're froze also. Everything come out of the freezer. I should have thrown them out. And we'll bring it back to a small boil. Put the tomatoes in because they're froze, and we'll add the chicken and peas and green beans. All right. All right, so we're gonna put our tomatoes in there too. And these are how much?
3 cups each, so it'd
3 cups.
be 6 cups total.
So you're just short of a quart, right?
Quart and a half.
About Tim. That's hot. Okay. Bring all that up. And then we'll add everything else. All right. And we just got it on a low heat. All right, so let's check this. See how we're doing. Yes, everything's broke apart. Looking good. It's heavy. All right. So now we're going to add the potatoes and our chicken back to it. And we're going to bring that to a rolling boil. And then we'll add the peas, green beans, and we'll be good. That was about 4 pounds or so of potatoes. Here's our 3 chickens. Okay. Now we're going to stir that up. And we're going to let that cook down. And the chicken, once it starts boiling again, the chicken will break apart and become finer and not so thick pieces. So we're going to bring that to a boil. And then we'll add our peas and green beans and stuff. And we'll be good. Once it comes back to a boil, we'll bring it back to another boil after we add the other stuff to it. We'll taste test it, see if it needs some seasoning and salt. All right. All right. Let's put our lid back on it. Increase our heat just a little bit. There we go. All right, so it ain't been on but just a few minutes, and we decided to come do a taste test, and it wasn't tasteable. That's putting it lightly. It was kind of bland, kind of plain. So we're gonna add some stuff to it here. Basically the same thing we put in there earlier. We're just kind of eyeballing it. Give it some onion powder. Give it a whisk. Some black pepper, some salt. Everybody needs a shot of Tony's. You put Tony's on eggs if you wanted to. I mean, that's what I'm talking about right there. Beautiful. What is that?
Red, pepper flakes.
Oh yeah, that's good. You could put some of that. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere now. Damn. That even smells better. All right, so we'll get our lid back on. Let her approach a boil. Here we go. So now we're gonna add peas, green beans, lima beans, and our sweet peas. I may have to turn it down again, and then we'll do a small taste test for seasoning. So we've got a gallon. Probably shouldn't have got all of those, but we did. That gets back to that non-recipe part. So we put a gallon of sweet peas, which is probably too much. 4 cans of lima beans, and 1 can of that,
1 quart.
and a quart of green beans, which these came from our farm. Put them in there. Probably could have used 2 of those. And there you go. Now, that is everything in the pot. We're going to bring her back to a small rolling boil. Do a small taste test. See what we need to add. Be good to go. Ready to eat. Nail it, tack welder. You still on?
Yeah.
Cool. Normally she don't do all that.
Yeah, I know, right?
You can get some more than that. Don't be stingy with the pepper. You can hold it a little closer too. Yeah, why don't you just take the lid off of that?
Yeah, the guy I work with,
Alright, here we go. Alright, so after a taste test, it needed some more tomatoes. So we put our frozen, out of our garden tomatoes in it, and then we're gonna add some canned paste in it to kind of give it a little more kick. It just wasn't quite tomatoey enough. Yes, that's a word, look it up. Tomatoey. I ain't gonna spell it, but it's in there. Webster knows, and so does Siri. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. We've added some more salt and seasoning and pepper. You just gotta get to that to your own likings. That's what it amounts to.
Not, darling.
scoot over.
Not, darling.
Come on.
Move the can off of there.
From Simply Southern Roots, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Yay! Oh, really?